Well, it's noon here in Bethesda, Maryland, and this is Thursday, November 17th. And this is, well, news that you can use from YAA with your hosts, Zach and Ray. How are you today, handsome?
I'm doing great. You're going to have to work on, we are going to be Car Edge before you know it. So why don't we starting tomorrow? News you can use from Car Edge. But if you want to buy our stuff, go to Join Y. Okay, anyway.
Well, let's not do
Pops,
that yet. Yeah.
Here's the deal. Capital One, we are in their office today in case you
Yes.
couldn't tell we're in
Are
there.
these the same people that couldn't get us tickets to the Suns Wizards game at Capital One Arena?
Kayvon, thanks for being here, Pops. All right, let's.
That's the same people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who can I talk to in that office? Who do I talk to? Sorry.
No, let's talk about it. Sure, let's start there. We bank with Capital One. They couldn't get us tickets. Please express your frustrations. I feel like that's
frustrated. At the very least, somebody out there has got to have 5 good seats for.
I don't know why that just irked me so much.
I don't know.
It just irked me.
Sorry, didn't mean to irk you. Okay.
I know, but just like some things, we don't have to talk about on the show.
Okay.
Right?
Go, yeah.
You go.
You go. I saw you goes back in the 70s. They were terrible.
Go for it. What do you think we're going to talk about today?
I have no idea. I didn't even look at your thumbnail.
You just really got me off my groove. Man.
I'm sorry.
Start there, Dad.
Capital One lays off auto finance employees after cutting back originations. Now, what does that indicate to you? I know what it indicates to me.
Why did that bother me so much? Today's going to be a therapy session.
I have no idea. Why would it bother you so much? Do you feel that beholden to Capital One?
I don't know. It's like our banking. Like, do we have to talk about our banking on a...
I didn't. I just said they didn't help us get tickets. You're the one that's telling them it's our banking source.
All right, Dad. So Capital One's laying off staff.
Yeah.
In their auto finance division. We also have news from TransUnion that I can pull up here in just a second. But we know loan delinquencies are rising. Capital One's a big lender, one of the largest auto lenders. Almost 3.5% of customers with auto loans are now behind on their payments. That comes from TransUnion.
That's not a good statistic, is it?
Especially when you start to look at Capital One, a mega corporation. Right? They're laying off folks in their auto finance division. That signals 2 things to me. 1, we know originations are starting to go down. And 2, their loan loss provisions are starting to go up. They're looking for a way to not lose a bunch of money. That's what this indicates to me.
Well, they're a business. They're a bank. They're in business to make money. So yes, of course, they're looking for ways to mitigate their potential losses. But it indicates to me that they realize that loan originations are down. Loan applications are down. The quality of people seeking loans is lower than what it was before. They don't need quite as much staff to be able to tell those people, no, we don't think we can lend you the money. So yeah, I mean that's just another indicator of what's happening in the automotive sector at the moment. That demand is down. Demand is definitely softening. The quality of people trying to buy cars is down. 86% of vehicles that are sold in this country are financed. And when your finance companies are saying, oh my God, we're not able to originate as many loans as we anticipated because the quality of the applicants has dropped, that's a leading indicator that sales are about to be impacted. That the people that do find themselves in the market don't have the ability to actually complete the transaction.
Let's read this quote from leadership at Capital One because I think it's very indicative of the conversations we have on these streams and how that's influencing. Not to toot our own horn, I think we're right, and how it's influencing the C-suites at these mega corporations. That this is the quote. We'll start here.
Okay.
This is from a spokesperson from Capital One. Rising interest rates, used vehicle prices, and moves by competitors have created unique headwinds and compressed margins in the auto lending industry. Based on our assessment of the environment and our auto business, we pulled back on originations to better align teams to match our current originations volume and ensure our organization remains strong and resilient. We announced changes that impacted some associates in our auto business. So cutting through the BS there, they're saying we've got less originations and we don't want to lend to as many people right now because they're not as creditworthy.
Duh. Yeah, that's what they're saying in their big convoluted statement. Yeah, I mean, just come out and say it.
Well, I mean, they got to do their job, but
Well,
but
okay, just come out and say why
before
does
you go there, we'll get a raise rant in today. I want to pull up one other thing.
okay,
Remember earlier it was last month, Dad.
yeah,
We pulled up the CarMax earnings when it came out.
yes,
They increased their loan loss provisions. You can see it on the
from
screen there.
35 million to 75 million.
Exactly. They
Yes.
had year-over-year declines of $40 million because they increased their loan loss provisions. They more than doubled their
Yes.
loan loss provisions. So it's not like Capital One's alone in this. Everyone is increasing their provisions for loans that they don't think are going to come due. And they're seeing higher interest rates that don't actually have that much margin because it costs them more money to lend out the capital. It's just not a good environment.
Well, it's not a good environment, and one of the things that I hate about big business,
Yeah,
is they try to tell the truth without trying to tell the truth. Okay, they try to hide the truth buried within BS statements.
yeah.
Just come out and say the reason we have to let people. The reason we have to let people go, I really did upset you. The reason we have to let people go is because the quality of the applicants is much lower than what we anticipated when we put together our business plan for this year. We're not able to originate as many loans as we thought we would be able to because interest rates have gone up, pricing has gone up, and the quality of applicants has gone down. Don't paint it in such a manner that the average person can't understand what it is you're saying. Just come out and be blunt and tell the truth. That would go a lot further in my mind. I guess the idea is to not scare everybody. But sometimes you just have to deal with what the reality is, and don't be afraid to mention what the reality is.
Now, Pops, we had from one of our community members actually mentioned to us that floor plan, so interest rates at the
Yes.
dealership level are also going up considerably. And you've got to imagine, Dad, we've got data that just came out from Manheim that says wholesale used car prices they're steadying and actually going back up, which is such BS, man. Totally BS. These dealers are sitting on, so it's not only the consumers that we're questioning creditworthiness and delinquencies there. There's also on the dealership side, I think a lot of questions. They have all this overpriced inventory that we've floor planned. Capital One's a huge floor plan financier. So is Ally Bank and others. They've got billions of dollars out there to floor plan, provide interest, provide
Yes.
financing, to the inventory that these dealerships have. And they don't know if they're going to get their money back on that either. It's another, I think, red alert going off within within the offices.
More than likely they'll get their money out of those vehicles, but maybe not as on time as they might have liked. Yes, dealerships find themselves in a bind, and that bind is that the cost of carrying their inventory has skyrocketed compared to what it had been. For the longest period of time, dealers didn't give much thought to what their floor plan interest payments were because they were minimal. Even when new car inventory sat at 3.4 million cars in inventory on a monthly basis,
Yep.
the cost to carry that inventory was next to nothing. Now, the Fed has seen to it that the cost to carry that inventory has gone from next to nothing to, oh my God, I didn't realize it was going to be this much.
Yep.
Okay. And even though inventories are less than half of what they were before, the carrying costs are significantly higher than they were before. So that dealers have to adjust for that.
Yep.
Okay. And one of the ways they can adjust for that is to lower their prices. Now, they might not necessarily lower their asking prices, but they might be more willing to negotiate. And you have to realize when we talk about dealerships being more willing to negotiate, there's certain subsets that they're not going to negotiate on. Those would be hybrids. Those would be the $15,000 to $25,000 cars that there's just a huge shortage of. But luxury cars, full-size SUVs, crossovers, those type of vehicles, the higher end vehicles, those are the vehicles that they will negotiate on more readily.
Pops, let's turn to the chat here. Kayvon, thanks for being here, Kayvon.
Thank
We
you,
appreciate contribution. I was at Oxmoor Hyundai over the weekend, and they did not want me to get out with the bill of sale. Even their finance manager tried interrogating me to see why I would finance through someone else. They tried to force me into buying a Pulse package that I wouldn't notice it on paper. Good for you, Kayvon. This is, and thank you for the contributions. This is 101 at the dealership. You got to make sure you're informed, because next thing you know, I got the payment I wanted, but what did I buy? And Pops, I want to remind,
and it's just another example, if I may, Zach,
Yeah.
of why customers hate dealers.
Yep.
Because there's too many dealers that try to sneak things in. Okay, and dealers go, oh well, customers don't like. Well, yeah, they don't like you for a reason. And all you guys do at YAA is bash us. No, just the bad ones, just the people doing that, just the people doing the stuff they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
You know, you don't hear us bashing Schomp Automotive or
Earl
Earl Stewart. You know, the Lehigh Valley Lexus. You won't hear us bashing those dealers that are doing it the right way, that advertise a price, and guess what? They sell it at that damn price. Yeah. So for all you bad dealers out there that hate us for bashing you, well, we're only bashing you because you deserve it.
One other note on the finance side, and then we will move on. We've got other things to cover today, Pops.
We do.
Join YAA.com/finance or /refinance. We partnered up with 4 credit unions. We can lend in all 50 states with the exception of Hawaii plus Washington, D.C. So select your state.
Could we say we can lend in 49 states and Washington, D.C., and unfortunately we cannot lend in Hawaii?
Whatever, man.
Well, we can't lend in all 50 states.
Whatever. Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, do it.
You can get a pre-approval without any impact on your credit score. You start with the pre-approval, you see what you could get, and you can refinance here. So it's totally worth it. It takes 60 seconds or less to get your pre-approval. And then obviously if you go through the whole process, of course, it's a hard pull on your credit, but it is an option that you need to know you have.
Yes.
All right, Dad. I want to switch gears a little bit. We did on the show yesterday, we talked about new car inventory levels, and I want to hit on that again because I think it's so important. It's a message that needs to continue to get out there. We saw new car inventory levels skyrocket up to 1.56 million vehicles in inventory. This ties directly in with the Capital One news and other banks and finance companies. This is a 78% increase year over year in inventory levels on the new car side. And, Dad, to simply put a cherry on top of this and then get your take on it, we have this message from Thomas.
Yes.
The Manheim location here in Fort Lauderdale is absolutely bursting at the seams for the first time since 2010. Not only do we have an influx of new vehicles in dealer inventory, we actually have used vehicles in inventory as well, because only half of them are actually selling at the auction. They're just sitting around waiting for retail customers. It seems like that V-shaped recovery that we had all talked about at the beginning of the COVID pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We never saw that. It's been much longer, right?
Yes.
But in the car market, we're seeing the V-shaped recovery of supply. It's bouncing right back, it seems.
Well,
it's taken a while.
Well, and I would be concerned at the Fort Lauderdale Manheim location that it's bursting at its seams, because it was not all that long ago that Hurricane Ian devastated Florida. So how many of those vehicles that are bursting at the seams there are flood vehicles that are about to be run through the sale, announced as flood vehicles? So that could be part of it. And the quality of the cars that are being offered at a lot of the auctions are really on the lower end of the quality scale.
Yep.
So it's a bit of a conundrum, in the sense that yes, there could be more inventory, but the quality of the inventory that's available is continuing to go down, which would indicate to me that there is a greater need today for a pre-purchase inspection on a pre-owned vehicle than ever. And I have been trying to help one of our viewers or members who's looking at a pre-owned certified Jaguar F-Pace, I believe, diesel, and it's certified.
I didn't know they made a diesel version.
Apparently they did. And it's certified like 17,000 miles on it. And the conundrum for this person is, well, should I get a pre-purchase inspection? I said, I would recommend it unless you feel comfortable enough if they'll give you a copy of their certified pre-owned inspection report. And he said, well, yeah, they sent me all that, and the Carfax is clean. But my fear is that what if there's some undisclosed body damage? So get him to do a video inside and out and the vehicle on the lift, because the vehicle's here in the Bethesda area and he wants to ship it to California. Well, if I was shipping a car across the country, I think I'd spend the $180 to get an independent set of eyes looking at the vehicle, because let's face it, once it leaves Maryland, what leverage do you have as the customer?
Yeah, you have absolutely none.
So it was a long way to say, always get a pre-purchase inspection on any used car.
And we're seeing, though, to be clear, again, we're seeing inventory levels build back up.
Yes.
And that means that for the few folks out there who want to get a loan in a high interest rate environment, or for those of you who can pay cash, that's great.
Yeah.
That's absolutely great. Go do that.
Yes.
This is awesome, Dad.
Yes, I saw that as well.
Maria jogging at the Golden Gate Bridge and listening to the fastest growing Swedish company out there. We appreciate that. Yes. Maria, enjoy.
And be careful on the bridge.
Be careful on the bridge. Yeah. Dad, another thing that I want to pull up here, and I want to have a bit of a discussion around, although before I do, I want to let everyone know on Thursdays over on Instagram, we do Ask Us Anythings. Okay, so if you're following us over on Instagram at Your Advocate Alliance for another couple months until we're Car Edge, please go over there and follow us, because on Thursdays, if you watch our story,
we have a story.
You can ask us anything, and we spend Thursday afternoons just answering people's questions. So if you have questions and you want to get your questions answered, and we can't necessarily get to all of them here in the chat, Space is here, Justice is here, Phil I think might be here. They're helping to answer questions in the chat. Follow over on Instagram. That's another option. And Dad, we have the Thanks 20 and Thanks 100 promo codes going until the end of this month. Okay. There might not be Black Friday car deals, but we're doing a promotion. 20% off the YAA Plus membership. We totally revamped the plans page on the website to help you understand what you actually get access to, and $100 off on the vehicle service contract. End of the pitch, Dad. I want to turn our attention here to Manheim data.
Yes.
Cox Automotive came out with this headline this morning. Wholesale used vehicle prices see modest increase in the first half of November.
That's odd, because Black Book shows the opposite.
We are in a moment where Black Book has shown truly the most significant price declines at the wholesale auctions for 5 weeks in a row now. 4 or 5 weeks in a row now. And Manheim is coming out and literally 180 degrees in the other direction, saying wholesale used car prices have actually increased. Dad, what do you make of this? Who do we believe?
Well, I guess it depends on which vehicles at which sale, apparently. And my suspicion would be is that the good cars, the good quality cars, that dealers are probably still paying up for those, and the no sale cars, which are the lower quality cars, aren't getting sold at all. So that might be the reason that they see a slight uptick in wholesale values that are being paid at the auctions at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to. I can't understand why Black Book would come out week after week and show 1% declines at the wholesale auctions, and then Manheim, the biggest data source that we possibly have, is coming out and saying, nope, it's actually increased. Like, I kind of want to get the Black Book team on the line and be like, help us understand how this could possibly be true.
They're probably in San Diego for used car week.
But you know what I mean? Like, how can that possibly, those two stories those two pictures tell two totally different stories.
Yes. And I'm just, as I do, spitballing, but I'm guessing it's because the good quality cars are bringing all the money, and the cars that are not getting sold, that are the crap, the cream of the crap.
Yeah.
Since they're not getting sold, it's showing artificial increases in wholesale
because the
values.
only vehicles that are getting sold are the nicer ones, and they
Yes.
actually are selling for more. I get it.
Yes.
Let's go to the chat here for a couple minutes, and then I've got an incredible, really, you've got to be kidding me.
Okay.
Geo says, found a dealer in Maryland that's starting to remove additional dealer markups on non-hybrid Tundras now to play the negotiation game. Absolutely love that.
Yes.
Deal School 3.0 will be out in probably 2 weeks. It'll be your after Thanksgiving gift that you can get your hands on. Deal School 2.0, of course,
Yes.
is still available. Join yaa.com/Deal School. But Gio, you're probably going to want to brush up on that. Learning Fast, always good to see it in the chat. Everybody screamed for high interest rates to lower inflation. Now we have high interest rates, and people are complaining that spending has stopped while inflation is decreasing.
It's amazing how that works. I mean, that was, I believe,
That was the goal.
the whole concept behind what the Fed was doing.
Paul's got a question. If I have cash for a new car, is it a good time to buy a new car now, or should I be waiting? Cash, I'm waiting.
Yeah, cash, I would wait to, for the cars to bottom out, for the prices to really come down.
And for bottoming out, I think our best estimation is end of this year is going to be some new car incentives,
Yes,
new car deals.
We suspect.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, again, crystal ball notoriously fuzzy, but we think new car incentives will be there at the end of December.
Yes.
And used car prices will continue to fall into next year. So if you're a cash buyer, you don't have to worry about interest rates rising. It's much easier.
Yes.
Chris says, if I had a cell phone, really, you got to be kidding me, would be my ringtone. I love that.
Yeah, I like that too. Maybe, can you figure out how to do that on my phone?
I can make that happen for you.
Okay.
Annis says, contacted dealer yesterday as a price for a price of a Kia family vehicle was significantly discounted from $28,000 to $22,000. When I sent an online request, they added $4,000 in administration and reconditioning fees.
So you know what that says to me, that the price reduction from 28 to 22 was bogus.
Yep.
But it really was from 28 to 26. So there was a discount. And you know what else that would indicate to me? That would be a dealership that I would never do business with.
Exactly. And Dad, I actually did a video on TikTok and Instagram where I was looking at great deals on Car Gurus and Auto Trader.
Yes.
And the way, and I think the prices were really good. I actually thought the price was really good. I walked through why I thought they were really good. None of that matters until you contact the dealership and you see what the out the door price is.
Yes.
Because it could be $4,000 in BS on a used car. That absolutely shouldn't be there. Pops, we've got from Talon saying I asked for a pre-purchase inspection and they wouldn't let me. Red flag. Huge red flag.
Then don't do business with that dealer.
And Talon, who works in the industry, says we now have 1,066 used cars, up from 300 a few months back.
That's 3-time increases. That's 3x, as you like to say.
That's 3x, man.
It's
We
a
are
little more than
totally
3x.
Totally seeing vehicle inventories increase.
Yes.
All right, Pops, you ready?
Yeah.
Really?
You gotta be kidding me.
All right, gang. I've got an interesting one here.
Yeah.
So just the other day, Consumer Reports came out with their most reliable vehicles.
Yes.
Now I recognize that earlier, when I drank this,
Yes.
I saw a comment that said Zach has a drinking problem. We shouldn't make light of any of that in any way, shape, or form.
Yes.
But I'm just imagining
Yes.
that the folks at Consumer Reports, when they put BMW number 3 on reliability, maybe they were drinking something. What is the rationale? How is BMW the number 3 most reliable vehicle, Dad? I have no understanding how Consumer Reports can possibly publish that and feel good about it.
What's their methodology? Do they say
They survey folks? But
is this through their surveys or is this their actual road testing?
The predicted reliability score is calculated on a 0 to 100 point scale, with the average rating falling between 41 and 60 points. For a brand to be ranked, Consumer Reports must have sufficient survey data for 2 or more models, either due to low count or insufficient data. Alfa Romeo, maybe that would have been number 4. Chrysler could have been 5. Dodge number 6, and Fiat number 1.
Yeah.
Infiniti, Jaguar, Land Rover, Maserati, Mini, Mitsubishi, Polestar, Porsche, and Rivian are not ranked.
Wow.
So this is from a survey, Dad. But still,
well, then, okay. So I wouldn't say that the people at Consumer Reports are drinking. I would suggest that the customers at BMW are the ones that are imbibing in something.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
There's no way, just to be very clear with everyone, there's no way a BMW and then their derivative products like a Mini would ever be in the top 5, the Mount Rushmore of reliability. Now, the other ones on the list seem to make sense, right? Like the first 2 make a lot of sense.
Yes.
Toyota and Lexus.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. And I've related this story before. back from 1989 to 1994, I had a Golf USA franchise store in Mesa, Arizona, that was down the street at that time from what was General Motors Proving Grounds
Yep.
in Arizona. And a lot of the engineers used to come in because they loved to play golf, and they would buy balls and equipment and everything else. And they would always drive up in different cars. So I asked this one engineer, I said, why do you guys have all these different cars? He says, well, we buy all of our competitors' cars so we can tear them down and see how they're building them and the quality of the parts that they're using. And I said, okay, so having done that, what's the best quality built car out there? Without hesitation, Lexus. He says, the build quality is excellent. The quality of the parts and materials that they're using is beyond reproach. They are just absolutely the best vehicles out there. Now, this was in the 90s. But I don't really suspect that Lexus's quality has gone downhill to any great degree from the 90s till now.
Of course.
So yes, I would expect to see Lexus up there as a reliable product. I would expect to see Toyota up there and Honda and Mazda up there as reliable products, because over the course of decades, they have proven to be. BMW has never proven to be that. And this is, hey, I repped Mini for a long time, and Mini is a derivative of BMW. And so I would hear all the stories. I talked to all the service techs and service writers. That, there were certain things, and as soon as those vehicles went out of warranty, they just became money pits.
All right, so just to acknowledge it here, Dad, let's read this survey size. The 2022 survey covers more than 300,000 vehicles from 2000 to 2022 model years, as well as early 2023 model year vehicles, Consumer Reports said, with owners asked to report on 17 trouble areas such as engine, transmission, and in-car electronics.
Yes.
The nonprofit product testing organization anticipates reliability based on a brand's reliability history, previous generation reliability, and the reliability of models with shared components. Overall scores are based on predicted reliability, performance during road tests, owner satisfaction survey results, whether a model comes standard with key active safety systems, and results from third-party crash test sites. Third-party crash tests. Now, let me scroll up really quickly, Dad, and I just want to point out here those that were at the bottom of this list. So we had Tesla coming in 19th place, Chevy in 20th place, GMC in 21st, Volkswagen 22nd, Jeep went from number 1 last year to number 23.
How do you do that?
And Mercedes-Benz in last place.
Yeah, and how do you drop from number 5 to number 24? And the only way that happens is because maybe the people don't understand how the technology works in the vehicles that they bought.
Well, that's what happens to JD Power when they do their reliability or quality one.
Yeah, quality control.
And man, you can spin that headline like any way you want, because it's like, BMW's bottom quality in JD Power, but it's because people didn't understand how to use the technology.
Yes.
And then who ends up being number 1 on that is like Buick or Cadillac, because it's an older generation that buys it. They don't even use the technology.
They wouldn't want to be bothered with the technology.
These reports are always...
Yes. You can, if you want to get accurate information, if I may.
Yeah, go for it.
Go to caredge.com.
Didn't see that coming.
Okay. And do research on vehicles. And the most important research is to click on the maintenance tab. And it'll show you what the expected major repairs are and when, and what the average costs are. And that's based on what people have actually spent. So we're doing it now. Okay. And here you can see, you can see when the vehicles start really breaking down and start really costing you money. So that's the type of research you want to do. Go look at a BMW, and that those numbers are going to be staggeringly high, as opposed to looking at a Lexus or and yes, Al, at this particular point in time,
no, it'll always be free.
And going into the future, it will always be free. That information is free. So the cost to a consumer is to invest 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes of their time, and so they can get their hands on some good quality free information, um, and so that you can make a better decision,
Definitely, man.
a more
Definitely.
informed decision. I mean, if people really looked at the total cost of two different vehicles, they could figure out which one would make more sense if they're looking at competitive makes and models. Just saying.
Yeah, seriously. All right, Pops, we are back tomorrow with Miss
Yeah.
Kimberly Klein. We've got
Is
Kimberly's
tomorrow
corner.
Friday
Tomorrow
already?
is Friday
Does that mean
already.
there's Thursday night football?
Thursday night football. We've got no Saturday show this weekend. Maybe we'll do it from the farm. We're doing a hot air balloon ride on Sunday. And we got it. No, you're going to.
Maybe. I'm going to go look at the gondola of the hot air balloon before I decide whether or not to get in it, because, well, I'm scared to death of heights, and I'm convinced, and this is irrational, and I admit being irrational, but I am convinced that if perhaps there's less than 5 hot air balloon accidents a year in the country where anybody gets hurt, well, even if there was only 2, it'll happen when I'm in the damn gondola. So, and I'm not sure I want to fall out of the gondola when it's 35 degrees outside, to be honest with you.
Dad, you'll have fun. We'll have a good time. We had a very thoughtful contribution coming here, Dad, from Kayvon again.
Yes.
Kayvon, please become a YAA member so that we can just help you, right?
Yes.
Like, please just work with our team. That being said, Mom is looking for a 2021 Sonata Limited. And Dad, we got this question over on Instagram earlier today, and we replied. I'm going to pull up the NHTSA page, okay? We're not huge fans of recent Hyundai products and Kia products because of the various issues that they face.
We've had a lot of issues.
So just do your research and just recognize that, there's engine issues, there's oil intake issues, or oil consumption issues, I should say, with the 2021 Sonata. So I would maybe look elsewhere, but definitely do your research.
And people ask, well, do we hate Hyundai and Kia?
No.
Hell, we
used to own a Sonata.
We used to own a Sonata that you put all that subwoofers and.
Okay, all right. We did the bank thing earlier. Yes, when I was 16, I had a subwoofer in my car. It was a mistake.
I didn't say it was a mistake.
I'm acknowledging it was a mistake.
It let everybody in the neighborhood know when you were coming home.
I was immature. I am immature. I was immature. I'm not immature anymore. I'm less immature.
Your maturity level has gone up dramatically. 10x.
We'll be back with Kimberly tomorrow, Pops.
Yes, we will.
Thank you, everyone, for being here with us today. What time?
We'll be back tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, with more news that you can use from YAA, soon to be more news that you can use from Car Edge. So we'll see you back here tomorrow. We thank you for being here today, and we look forward to spending 30 minutes with you again Friday.
Okay, yeah. No, Andrew, you're wrong, man. There's like everything wrong with being 16 and in the suburbs. And oh, man, it was just bad.
Yeah. The windows would shake in the house. Yeah.
I had a high school girlfriend, too, and her dad knew when I was... It was just like
anybody knew. The whole neighborhood knew when you pulled in. That's because you hardly use that subwoofer at all.